Hey everyone, welcome. This is Give Live. Glad you're here. We're going to kick it off right away, jump right in. This is Give Live webinar. I'm Matt Cromwell. I'm head of support at givewp.com and wordimpress.com. Give is an online donation plugin for WordPress. Our goal is to democratize generosity. We do that by making online donation forms as elegant, flexible, and robust as possible, while still being very user-friendly. Unlike third-party platforms, we do not add any fees to your donations. We leave all of that up to you and your payment gateway of choice, and that enables you to have lower fees, and that means more people and more causes can be hosting high-quality donation forms on their websites, which goes to our motto, democratizing generosity. So what is Give Live? This is actually our 8th Give Live webinar so far. It's going well, and we're really happy about it. In these just few episodes that we've done already, we've covered things from SSL certificates and online security to custom form fields and recurring donations. The purpose of this monthly webinar is to provide you, our Give users, with ideas and insights, tools and resources for doing online donations as effectively as possible. That's the whole idea. So keep us posted on how things are going. We love hearing from all of our users and what you guys are doing. Next month, we're going to talk about PHP 7, what it is, why you need it, and how to get it. That's going to happen on Wednesday, June 14th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's basically our pattern. Every second Wednesday of the month is when we do Give Live. So mark your calendars for that and watch for our announcement blog post on our blog, givewp.com/blog. Today's topic. Today we're going to be talking about extending Give with snippets and add-ons. Everyone wants to make their website and their donation forms work exactly the way they want them to. Everyone has unique needs. Not any one website is the same or any one cause is the same. Give does a lot out of the box, but expecting it to serve every single need for all 20,000 active users that we have is pretty unrealistic. So how can you customize Give to your own unique needs? Well, that's where add-ons and snippets come into play. So here's a quick overview of what we're going to be discussing today. I actually have 6 points today, but they're going to go by pretty quickly. We're going to talk about the problem with one-size-fits-all plugins. WordPress actions and filters is how it all happens. A little bit about the freemium or add-on model. This is all basically context and background for understanding why we do things with snippets and add-ons. And then where do you get these snippets that we're talking about? Then properly implementing PHP and CSS snippets. And then we'll look at some snippets in action. That's the idea. And if you're joining us, we'd love to hear from you. So feel free to introduce yourself, say hi in the chat box. If you're on the YouTube page, just to the right-hand sidebar, there's a little chat there. You could see the Give icon chatting it up. That's me. And Bridget, our marketing manager, is there. And we also have somebody from Ancient Forest Alliance. Thanks for being here. And if you're here, say hi. We'd love to hear what you have going on, and we'd love to hear any questions that you have. Throughout the whole presentation, I'll be stopping to answer any questions that come up. I might say, oh, I'm going to answer that later, but if you have questions, chat them right up into that chat box, and I'll mention it right away. Try to address it as much as I can. So that's what we're doing. Let's open it up with the problem with one-size-fits-all plugins. I think everyone has been there. You install a plugin and it takes forever for it to install because it's gigantic. It's like a 5 megabyte plugin. And you're wondering, what is this thing going to do? And you get in there and it's just gigantic. It just takes over the whole admin area and it's making colors everywhere and these big old knobs and big splash screen things. And it's just too much. This is basically what we would call in the WordPress space bloat. This plugin is bloated. I see CC. Hey, CC, thanks for being here. The plugin is way bloated. So that is a problem that can happen when plugins aren't basically made in a way that really is catered to the way WordPress is supposed to operate. So plugins really want to do everything for everyone, but when you go that route and start trying to be everything to all people and all things, then you end up being this bloated behemoth that is way too much and way problematic for other plugins and other themes that are on your website. The unintended consequence of that approach is what we call bloat. So also, the other problem with that is that in order to deal with every single need that users might have, what plugin authors end up trying to do is they just add another option or they add another setting. And what ends up happening is you just have a sea, an ocean of settings after setting after setting. And what happens is the more settings there are, the more difficult it is for users to actually use the plugin. It's just settings overload. So what this means for authors, plugin authors like ourselves here at Give, is we have to make decisions about what goes into the plugin and what doesn't. In WordPress, the mantra or the philosophy behind this approach is called decisions, not options. We basically want to make some decisions that will benefit as many users as possible that are using Give, and instead of giving all the users a bunch of options that they're probably not even going to care about. You have a really niche need. Well, 90% of the other users don't have that need. So why should we clutter up the space with an option for something that nobody really cares about at the end of the day? So we're trying to make those wise decisions to keep our plugin lean and focused on exactly what it's supposed to do. And so that it serves as many people as possible, as well as possible, instead of being the one size fits all for everything. So, but what that means then is sometimes you don't have an option for the thing that you really want. You're like, okay, well, I really need this label to be something different. That's a really, really common request. I need this label to say something totally different. How do I do that? Some people are tempted to go right into the plugin files. If you're familiar with how WordPress works and plugins with WordPress, then you'll go over there and go find the file and change it. The big reason why that is super bad is because we're going to be sending out updates to Give regularly, because we're always improving, always making it better. And when that update comes out, your changes are going to be gone. That's the way plugins are updated. It's really an all or nothing. You're going to get the whole new batch of code, and it's going to wipe out whatever change that you made in the plugin. So how is it that you can actually customize Give to your purposes and your needs without losing all your changes, without editing the plugin itself? Well, this is one of the great things that makes WordPress really, really awesome, is it actually has a built-in functionality called actions and filters. And that's what we use in Give, is we try to add as many actions and filters as we can to the core plugin, and that's what enables developers specifically to be able to extend Give without ever touching the plugin directly itself. WordPress makes that happen for us. And that's actually the whole crux of the way all of our add-ons are actually built. We're able to make these add-ons specifically because of the actions and filters that we have put into Give Core already. I hope I'm not losing anyone. This is just trying to give a lot of context into why we do things with snippets. Why you're able to customize things with just a couple of lines of code. So actions and filters are the WordPress thing that enables things to happen. I see some comments coming in. Hey Scott, thanks for being here, Scott. So that's WordPress actions and filters are what make it all happen. And that's, like I said, that's the crux of how we do our whole add-on model, that we have a Give core that actually is very, very robust, but it doesn't have everything. It can't have everything. We don't want it to have everything. We want it to be as applicable to as many people as possible. And then we want you to be able to customize it, to be able to do things to your own purposes. Cece says she loves the topic. Cool, thanks. Thanks for saying that. If you don't know, all of these comments, actually, after the whole video is over, I don't know why YouTube does this, but they're going to be gone. They just ditch the comments once the video is recorded and posted. I really don't know why they do that. It makes me really sad. But so I always try to call out any of the comments that come in that are relevant. So. Anyway, so that's the crux of our whole add-on model is we try to make Give Core as robust as possible and as extensible as possible. It's able to be extended really, really easily, and that's what powers our add-on model, that we're able to have all these add-ons that make Give more featureful without all the users having to have all of that code all the time. Keep it a lean, mean, centralized plugin that does 90% of everything you want it to do, and then we can add on these extra add-ons that really make it powerful and really customized to your unique needs, whether it's the gateway that you want or recurring donations or the custom fields that you want, PDF receipts, all these things. All these things are made possible by having actions and filters and this methodology of not being a one-size-fits-all. So that's the main idea of the background for why we do the things we do with Give and the way we do it specifically. And I'm watching for questions. It seems like everybody's happy so far, so that's great. Next one is, where do you get snippets like this? Well, for one, if you're a developer, of course, you can actually create whatever snippet you want. Oh, Derek, where are you from? I'm going to answer your question, but if you could tell me where you're from, that'd be great. Derek Fegan says, we have a client who wants to post a lot of items that their site or visitors can donate toward. They want to put out 200 or 300 items. Is there a good way to show all of them in a list? We have a client who wants to post a lot of items to their site that people can donate toward. Interesting. From Columbus. Nice. Cool. Thanks for being here. It's a good question. This one I think is not so much that's a really large ask in general, because it is doing things a lot more like a product rather than a donation. So it kind of puts into question whether you really are going to be talking about donations at the end. I know that they're donating it, that they're not actually getting a product in the end, but when they actually donate towards an item, the functionality itself ends up being a lot more like an e-commerce platform, like WooCommerce in some ways. But one thing you could do is you could have a form for every single item. But I know you said 200 to 300 items. That's a big. That's a whole lot of forms. But you can easily duplicate them with a free plugin called Duplicate Post. And then just change their title. And then there's lots of ways with snippets that you can list all of the items, all of the Give forms really easily. And also we have an archive page which if you just go to, as soon as you install Give, you have a slug that's just called /donations. And basically with that, you can see all of your forms on one page, more or less. But that's inherited from your theme archive. That's a really complicated question, Derek. I would actually love if you would reach out to us to our Give contact page. I'm going to type that here into the comments right now. Reach out to us there. And I'd love to talk with you more about that offline. I have one more question. I'm going to jump more into the subject again. So, Thero team, I'd love to know where you guys are from. If you could let me know. I'm going to answer your question though. We just installed Give the other day and are loving it. Glad to be able to not use WooCommerce. So there we go. Oh, not a question, just a comment. I appreciate that. Thero team, let me know where you're from if you can. Yeah, honestly, that was one big reason why we built Give, was because when we were building sites for nonprofits before we built Give, we often used WooCommerce. And WooCommerce is amazing for products. It's not meant for donations at all. Thero team is from San Diego. We're neighbors. We're from San Diego. We're right in the middle of downtown San Diego on 5th and G. So you should look us up. We should try to grab lunch sometime. Cool. All right. So where do you get these snippets? So a couple things. Let's talk about snippets and why we're even talking about them. We call them snippets because they're basically just a couple lines of code. And where you get them most often right now is from us directly, from our support team. We provide snippets to people in our support channels all the time. And even on WordPress.org. If you go to WordPress.org and you submit a free ticket, a free support ticket there, most likely I'm going to answer that. And if you're asking how to do something custom out of the box, then it's not an overly complicated thing, very often I have a snippet ready to give you that could answer that problem for you. And if you look through the tickets, you'll see lots of them there. But the central place that we actually get those from is what we call our snippet library, and I'm posting that here right now. This is on GitHub. And it's public. Everybody can see it, totally fine. And we've organized it into basically different types of functions for what each snippet is supposed to be doing. So you'll see folders here, and you can click in there and find the different snippets. And honestly, this library is growing and growing. Like I just right now went into the form customization folder right now, and I can see almost 20 different snippets there. That's just in one folder, and we have about a dozen different folders here already. So a lot of these, some of these have some very niche purposes, but we find that we end up using them over and over again for different reasons. And also, there a lot of them are often requested. So it just depends on exactly what they're doing, what the needs are exactly. So this right here, the Give Snippet library, if you ever are wondering, oh, I wonder if there's a snippet for it, this is the place to start. Go there, check it out. Now, I do want to give a big caveat. These are snippets that we know for that they do officially work, because we use them, we created them, and sometimes people actually do what's called pull requests. They'll submit changes to our snippets in one way or another, and we'll review them and make sure they work. We do know that these work, but these are not our official add-ons. Use them at your own risk, basically, is the caveat that I'll give. I definitely think that they are very, very useful. A lot of them are really, really, really minor things that are really harmless. Like translation snippets is a great folder to look at. When people ask, oh, I don't want it to say offline donations, I want it to say something else. Actually, I think that one's in gateway customizations. Yeah. Then there's ways that you can customize the gateway label. So it doesn't say offline donations. Maybe you wanted to say mail a check instead. You want that to be just focused purely on instructions for mailing checks. That's a great way to do it, basically. Make it be a snippet, and you can change the label right there. Pretty easy. So that's the place that you want to get them from, primarily. And then, of course, if you're a developer, you know what you're doing. This is a great place also to get ideas, because what you'll notice is the large majority of these snippets start with some sort of WordPress action or a WordPress hook. And that's one thing I wanted to chat about a little bit as well. In Give, like I was saying, we have tons of hooks. Basically, hooks is the general catch-all word for actions and filters. We have tons of hooks throughout the whole plugin, but how do you find out what these hooks are? There is a really great free plugin called Just Display Simply Show Hooks is what it's called. It's a free plugin called Simply Show Hooks, and we actually forked that to make it only show Give hooks, because there's a ton of hooks in WordPress, and when you activate Simply Show Hooks, it simply shows you a bazillion things, lots and lots and lots of things. So if you just want to see stuff that's relevant to Give, then you might want to use our Give Hook Helper, which one of our developers, Ravinder, actually built. I'm pasting that link here in the chat right now. It's a great tool, and he has an animated GIF here that illustrates exactly how it works, and that will help you to know where in the page these hooks are used, these actions or filters are used. It's a really useful tool. So. And then in our snippet library, like I said, for example, if you wanted to, let me bring up the one real quick about changing the gateway, because that's a really common one, gateway customizations. And I'm going to switch my camera, zoom in on this. Yeah, that's our snippet library. And right here, right now I'm in gateway customizations and customize payment gateway labels. So I come in here, and This is the whole thing. We try to document even our snippets. This is inline documentation in the code itself. And then this is the actual snippet right here. So in this one, it's a lot more lines of code. It's not just a couple lines, because we actually are highlighting how you can customize every gateway. So there's lots of gateways here that are being customized. But at the end of the day, if all you wanted to do was just change offline donations, you would just need this section here and not all the other sections. But what you'll notice is this is the name of the function, which honestly, you should always change the prefix. Basically, maybe change it to the name of your website, and then what actually happens is inside this function. But you'll see down here that all happens with a filter. You see, it's called add filter, and the filter is not a WordPress core filter. It's a give filter. It's one that we have created called give payment gateways. And all we're doing here is we're saying, with this give filter that exists, we want to run this function, my custom gateway labels. And then up here is that actual function that you're going to run. And in this case, we're going to do offline donations. And you could see here that we have an admin label you could change, which is offline donation. We just kept it the same. But the checkout label, which is the form label itself, actually, we're saying mail a check. So now in the back end, it's still going to always say offline donations. But on the front end, for the donors themselves, they're going to see, instead of offline donation, they're going to see mail a check. That's basically how they work, more or less. Pretty straightforward. And this is, like I said, this is where the best place where you can get them, the best place to find them, most reliable place to find them for sure. And of course through our own support as well. So the next thing is, okay, so we gave you a snippet, and now what are you going to do with it? Well, sometimes we're going to give you a PHP snippet, and sometimes we're going to give you a CSS snippet. So let's talk about both of those real quick. I'm going to switch back over. So we actually have an article on our Give blog. If you haven't been to our Give blog, you should definitely go there. We have lots of great resources available, including a great article by our senior support tech, Ben Meredith, on extending Give with snippets. This is one of the blog articles that we wrote with this Give Live in mind, actually. So check that out for sure. But we have a whole section here on tips and tutorials. And it's actually an old article that I wrote a long time ago. I'm actually going to have to search it because it's from way back when. There we go. Adding custom functions to your WordPress website. I'll put that into the chat right now. See a couple questions. I'm going to jump to those soon. Oh, these are comments. Cool. Comments are great too. So that article in particular, I find to be really, really useful, because I reference it all the time, because people need to know how they can add custom PHP snippets to their website without breaking their whole website. That's really important, because with PHP, there can be just minor things that you might miss, that can literally cause real damage. You can leave off a semicolon at the end of the line and it'll white screen your site. So that's really potentially problematic. But I wrote this article specifically to help people know a really good way to do PHP snippets without white screening your site. And the answer, quite honestly, is really really simple. It's this plugin right here, my custom functions. I have it installed here on my site, and they actually just did a big update to it just recently. And the reason why I always recommend this to folks is because it has error checking built into it. So yep, it has error checking built into it. So that basically, if I went in here and I added some code that really isn't supposed to do anything at all, it actually will not let me execute that. It will say, "Oh, there's an error in your code." and it'll protect your site from being from being white screened, basically. So it's really useful in that way. But basically, go to this article. You can read all about what I'm talking about today, about why updating doing custom snippets is really important, and also how to do it with my custom functions. Here's actually a screenshot of that. Sorry, but your code causes a fatal error. So it's not applied. Check the code, try it again. So let's try it out. Let's actually look at some of these snippets in action. A great way to do that is to show that custom gateway one. Let's see. I'm doing some really fun, crazy CSS on my local site right now. So it looks a little bit different than normal. So right now, we're saying I don't actually have offline activated right now. So let's change test donation to something totally fun and wacky instead. So we can go to our, actually, do we have test donation? I don't think we have test donation on this snippet, actually. Yeah, that's okay. We'll just go in and activate offline donations real quick. And I'll disable test while we're in there. Okay, refresh. Let's see. Let's try it again. Offline donation. I might have. Okay, this looks good. Update. There we go. So right now, we're showing here that we have credit card, PayPal, and offline donation. And I'm going to go grab this snippet. I got to grab the whole thing just to do it right. I'm going to head into my site to the My Custom Functions plugin that I already have added here. I'm going to paste it in, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all the other stuff besides offline donations because I don't need to deal with that. So right now it says the admin label should be offline donation, but the checkout label should be mail check. And then the return gateways is important that it has to be there. Everything looks good to go. I'm going to hit Save Changes. Custom functions updated successfully. Good. All right, so that means I should be able to just refresh the page. There it is. Mail a check. It's magic. I love it. So that's right there. Just a really simple example of how that works. Let's see. Having some great discussions with Ancient Forest Alliance. Thanks for providing an easy way for nonprofits to accept donations. We've been searching for a solution like this for years. Awesome. So glad to hear that. Ancient Forest Alliance. And Thero team, Bridget is saying they have an awesome donation page. That's great. They say thanks. We've been working hard on it. And they're making it even better with Give right now. Cool. Derek, great pointer on that plugin. Yeah, that plugin is a lifesaver for a lot of folks. Really important. The standard way that a lot of people recommend to actually do custom snippets on your WordPress site is through the functions file, functions.php. And you can absolutely do that, and that will definitely work. The problem is that it's not going to have that error checking. So if you white screen your site, you're responsible to know how to get it back. You're responsible to know how to change that function file again and make it work and get your site back up. The nice thing about My Custom Functions is that it's going to protect you in that way. Thero team again says, Matt, what do you think about the code snippets plugin versus the one you suggested? You know what? I looked into code snippets, and at the end of the day, I'm really happy with my custom functions. It's just it does have this ability to protect you against the errors, which I don't believe the code snippets plugin actually does that. The user experience is overall a lot better. My custom functions now, since I wrote that article, they now have a pro version, and with a feature that I highly suggested that he implement, which is basically that instead of one area where you can add snippets, it has you have the ability to add additional areas, and then you could toggle them on and off independently. And I think that that's really, really useful for folks, because if you're troubleshooting, you can say, well, maybe this snippet is causing the problem, and just toggle it off. You don't have to delete it. You can just toggle it off, and then troubleshoot from there. I think it's really, really useful in that way. So I would also suggest the pro version of my custom functions as well. Ancient Forest says, when you have a moment, I was wondering if there is a way to insert custom form fields in varying places of the donation form versus all of them at the top, all of them at the bottom, etc. Yes, there is. And basically what we have with Form Field Manager is started in a lot of ways as a snippet. And that's how some of our add-ons actually get their birth. That sometimes they start as snippets and end up as full-fledged add-ons. The real difference between a snippet and an add-on is there are some things, mechanical things about activating a plugin like an add-on and making sure that it's registered as an add-on. Though there's some of those things that are important that make an add-on and not just a snippet. And then additionally, add-ons are just a lot more complicated. They have a lot more features going on. It depends on which one you're talking about, but they're most likely going to be many files of code instead of just some lines of code. But I'm going to go real quick here and find our original custom fields. Here we go. Ancient Forest Alliance. I'm pasting a snippet here from our snippet library that is called, this is actually technically not a snippet either. This is actually a full-fledged add-on by itself, but it's basically like a static add-on. It's not going to, it doesn't do anything. It just, you activate it and it's going to add these fields to all of your forms automatically. So it's not something that you want to be working with all the time. It's really more like a demo plugin. So instead of pasting this whole thing into well, you can paste just the code itself, but if you take the entire code base, including the comments and everything, it's actually a plugin that you can activate just like any other plugin. And what it does is it shows you in code how you can add custom fields to your site, and it's just a matter of where you hook those fields in. Which hook are you going to use in the give form to add those fields? So you can add fields with the Form Field Manager in the way that you're describing, where Form Field Manager allows you to add them all to the top or to the bottom or whatever. And then you can also add custom fields anywhere in the form that you want, as long as you know where that hook is. So basically, if you use that Give Hook Helper plugin, like I showed you earlier from our developer Ravinder, you can use that to actually find out where these hooks are, and then you can use that hook with this example to add your field into different places of the form besides where the Form Field Manager fields are. So good question. Great question. We do also want to implement it in Form Field Manager that you can designate. It'll probably be more like we'll have groups. You'll add a group first, and in that group you could have some fields, and then you decide where in the form that's going to be. And then you'll add another group, and you'll add some fields in that group and decide where in the form that group is going to appear. And that'll be coming, but that's going to come after we get Give 2.0 out the door. Another snippet that I want to highlight, because I'll make an announcement here too, because it's pretty exciting. I'm going to find it here. I'm going to switch back over so you can see what I'm looking at. Another snippet that is now becoming a full-on add-on I'm going to have to search for it. Let's see. I actually see it on my site already. It's called Basic Fees. Yeah, Scott saying Ben from Give Support also blogged about all the places you can add content to front end forms. Blog posts why you should add content to your donation forms. Yep, absolutely. Ben, we're getting Ben to blog more and more. He's a great blogger. So here I am in our snippet library. I'm going to paste that link here as well. This is called Basic Fees. And this basically is going to add fees on top of the donation automatically with a little notice that says that you're going to add the 2.9% plus 30 cents to this donation, that the donor is going to pay that fee on top of what they're donating. So if it's $100 that they're donating, the final total will actually be $103.30. And that a lot of people are requesting this feature, that they want to be able to allow the donor to donate the fees. And so we started with just this basic snippet that just makes it applies it throughout the whole site on all your forms. And now we've turned it into an actual full add-on, and we're going to be releasing that this week. It's called Fee Recovery. So watch your email, because we'll be announcing it everywhere. Watch our social channels. We'll be talking about it there as well. Of course, there'll be a blog post about it. I think I want to show you guys this. This is actually, we were chatting about the icon of what it was going to look like. And so this is kind of what we landed on. This is what the product icon is going to look like. So yeah, Scott's saying he loves the basic fees coming add-on. Asked for that first time I use Give, will help me move more nonprofits to Give from other solutions. Yep, this add-on is really, really excellent. You're going to love it. So this is the product tile for it, and it's going to be great. And I could actually show it to you here live. It's on this form right here. You could see it adds a little checkbox right underneath the amount. Right now it's set to $5, and it says, I'd like to help cover the cost. I'm using the old version that's not quite up to date, right? Let me see if I can move some things around real quick. There we go. There's actually a couple more changes that we made just today or yesterday, actually, that are not reflected here. But so we have $5, and once if you look down here, you'll see it says $5. But when you check this checkbox, it's going to add 45 cents. And there's the 45 cents. And the nice thing about it is you could set it to be either to allow the donor to choose whether they're going to donate that percentage, or you can just force a percentage. Either one, you could choose that. And you could do it per gateway. Different gateways can have different fee amounts, even offline donations if you needed it for whatever reason. So it's going to be really, really useful. We think folks are really going to like it a lot. We're excited to release that this week. That's just another great example of a snippet that turned into a full-fledged add-on in the end. Cool. So we saw how My Custom Functions works, and we also have an article in our blog about how to add custom CSS snippets to your website, but it honestly has become pretty much obsolete at this point, because WordPress core has come out now with a custom CSS section in the customizer. So I'm just going to highlight that real quick also, just because it's really simple, and sometimes people don't fully understand the significance of what that means. So let me switch over here. So I was on my give form and I just hit customize at the top, and now here I am in the customizer. And at the very bottom, you'll see additional CSS. So now you can add any of your custom CSS here, and it's there automatically. All of this craziness that I've done here is all in this big long snippet that I've added. So I can, but what's great about the customizer is I can go and take this out and bam, I'm back to normal. Instant refresh automatically. Now I'm going to save my big long snippet somewhere. So, for example, if I wanted to change any of the give buttons, that would be automatic as well. I happen to know just off the top of my head that the class name for all the buttons is give button. If I wanted them to have background black, there it is, done. Let's make their color white. That looks great. But the hover color, that's not going to be good enough. So let's change that. Give button hover background definitely needs to be red, flaming red. There you go, flaming red on hover. So this is now the best place to add your custom CSS. If it's just for plugin purposes or whatever, you can also add them into your theme file, of course. So that's definitely an option as well. But theme CSS files can get unwieldy, and you kind of can get lost in the mix if there's too much going on in there. But I think the customizer CSS area is great because you can see the changes happen live. Cool. Couple more questions here. Ancient Forest is saying the ability to accept recurring donations in IATS would be a huge bonus. Yes, that will happen for sure. They have recurring, they support recurring, but they are also in the middle of updating their API to a whole new API. So we decided to wait to support recurring once they're done updating their API. Once they do that, then we're going to be all about it. So Thero Team says, I had thought the other day when installing Give, what about integrating BuddyPress and Give to make a social fundraising platform? Is that anything Give might be able to do? You actually can go to GitHub and you could do that today. Let me show you this. There's a great team out in Europe, We Foster, that's doing some great things with WordPress and community, and they have built a BuddyPress Give integration. I'm going to give you the link right now. You can check it out. They built it. They support it. They don't provide support though. It's just free, so it's up to you to use it if you like. But it's a BuddyPress Give integration, and it's made to their purposes. So there might be some things about it that are kind of unique, but you should definitely check that out and see what you could do with that. See what you think. We are going to do a couple articles about since you're asking about memberships, basically, or social sites. A lot of that is powered by WordPress user roles. They're called user roles or capabilities, and Give has its own user roles and capabilities. We're going to write some articles about that this year. And I most likely will be doing a Give Live about Give user roles and capabilities later this year after we write a couple articles, because there's a lot of really powerful potential once you understand how that works really well. So cool. Well, that's pretty much all I had for today. That's some of our Give snippets in action. And I really appreciate your guys' questions and comments. Definitely dig into the Give snippet library as much as you can and get used to it. And feel free to reach out to us on our contact form and let us know if you have any questions there at all. We're always happy to chat about anything Give related. I see one more quick question. How easy is it to customize the donation forms to change the currency and change the payment total based on currency? We do have a snippet that you can add your own custom currency, but Give has its own currencies that you could change in the settings. I'm not totally sure I fully understand the whole question, because it's currencies are actually kind of always a loaded question. But let me real quick look up the custom currency This one will at least get you started in the right direction. Let me switch. So here's the snippet where you can actually do custom currencies. Um, and this is if you want to create your own currency. If you want to change currencies per form, you could do that even with this custom snippet as a starter. If you're a developer, you can use this as just a reference and end up changing it per form. But the reason why it's complicated is it really depends mostly on your payment gateway. Your payment, even if you said that the money was in euros, but your payment gateway only accepts dollars, it's going to say 100 euros, but it's really accepting $100, and that's going to be problematic. So the whole issue with currencies is more about integration with the payment gateway and what the payment gateway supports and reflecting that. So that's another one that we're actually going to be looking into more in supporting multiple currencies on our forms. But it's kind of a beast. It's kind of a big project. Or not necessarily big, but just complicated, and we want to make sure that is done well. So we do get that request often, though. So cool. Oh, we got another question. They keep coming, and it's great. I'll take this. Well, I'll take questions for a while. Lumas Rero is asking, is this a snippet to change the placeholder text for the credit card under the authorized? Is there one? Okay, right now it says card name, and we have several users who who have entered Visa. I'm not sure if we have one existing, but that one's fairly straightforward. So if you reach out to us on support, we can make that happen. Let me double check real quick to see if I find something in the repository. Yeah, I'm not seeing it right now, but definitely hit us up on support about that one. I think we should be able to make that happen for you, because that makes sense. That's a good request. Last one from Ancient Forest. If you have time, is there a way to create an option that provides a drop-down box to type into only when ticked? Oh, you're asking about conditional fields, I think. Is there a way to create an option that provides a drop-down box to type into only when ticked? Yeah, you're asking about conditional fields. I get it. Yeah, there's not a snippet for that, because it really depends hugely on the name of your fields. This is going to be executed with JavaScript, and basically JavaScript has a simple show and hide function. So for developers, it's really not all that complicated to make something like that happen, and you absolutely can do it with Give, and with just a few lines of code, it can absolutely happen. But it depends completely on basically your field names, because we have to target those specifically to hide or show it at the right time. So it can definitely happen, and I've done it a couple times myself. But even sometimes providing that code as an example sometimes people have a hard time starting from somebody else's code when it doesn't apply to their code or their markup specifically. So it definitely can happen, and feel free to reach out about that, and we can give you some tips and pointers. And maybe it's straightforward enough we can provide the snippet even. Hit us up on support. We can look into it for sure. Taro says, thanks, Matt and company. Well worth the time. Cool. Awesome. Thanks so much. All right, gang. Here we go. Another one. Last one. I'm really going to wrap up. Derek, have you ever heard that PayPal has a policy against recouping the transaction costs? I heard that from one of their support people once when we were going to bundle that cost into what we were selling. Maybe for donations it's different. Maybe it's different. I've heard some people ask about whether how that works exactly. And honestly, that's going to be a policy thing for that gateway. You'll have to double check that. And we do plan on informing ourselves on it. But what's happening at the moment with fee recovery is not so much that you're recouping those costs, because at the end of the day, those fees are still going to be applied. It's just simply that the donor is going to be giving $103 instead of $100. And PayPal is definitely still going to get their fees that they are so protective over. So I don't think that that's really an issue in this case. If we did something that where we got the donation for $103, and then we refunded the donor for $3 in order for them to just pay 100, and we get the fee. We don't have to pay the fees. Then that would be kind of the kind of thing that PayPal would not like, because then they would definitely lose their fee rate by refunding that partial refund. Yeah. And yeah, there are some things about surcharges, for sure. This isn't really a surcharge. You're just asking the donor to donate a little bit more, in order to adjust for the credit card fees. Basically, it's almost like, all right, you're going to donate. Thanks so much. Can you donate just a little bit more so that the credit card fees don't hit us so hard? More or less, that's what it's doing. So it's helping to amplify your total donations by that percentage. Let's get those donations up by 3% basically over the course of the whole year. That makes a big difference. So cool. Thanks so much, everybody. We're gonna sign off and be in touch. Hit us up on social. Hit us up on our contact form in support. We're always happy to answer your questions. And see you next month, June. What's the date? 11th, I think. Second Wednesday at 5 o'clock, and we're gonna be talking about PHP 7. Thanks so much.